Good afternoon, everyone. This is Maureen from Massachusetts. It's a nice day here in New England, kind of brisk. You need a jacket. And it's just very colorful. Last night we lost our electricity. It was out all night. Started around 6 p.m. because of strong winds. And it just, left a lot of limbs down. So we were just out assessing the damage. And, luckily nothing got really broken or anything, but just a lot of limbs down. And we're out here kind of picking that up. But I wanted to do a video, and I'm not going to be working on any projects, but I may just be reading a couple poems to you while enjoying the brisk air. We'll be sitting in what we call our bug house, which is really just a closed-in deck with lattice work and some, tar paper, I guess he put around it for the elements and the wind and that. We have plants, old geraniums all around, and we sit in here. We have a little grill. Sometimes we eat in here over the summer. And just, it's nice to have one that has a roof on it that's enclosed, that we can come out and sit. And then, of course, the bottle area that we also are enjoying tremendously. So, advocating for reading and libraries and all that stuff and books, read your book. And I'm a writer, but here I am, didn't even read the front of the bag closely enough to realize all that time I was working with concrete people. So, needless to say, my project really didn't come out well, but I'm gonna let it go. I'll probably end up spray painting it and using it anyway, just because I don't like to waste things if I can help it. But here's the silly looking thing I created. Show it to you. There you have it, folks. That's the top of it. And then looking back at it, it's, if I can get it for you. And he's a bit older than me, and we're senior citizens. But we're doing well for senior citizens, and we try to keep busy and try to stay healthy, and that's the key, and try to be smart about this virus, this pandemic that's upon us. Wear our masks and not go out too much. And luckily, we live in a small New England town where the numbers are good. We're not too heavy hit with a lot of that. Not that the next towns over didn't get a bit more, but we're in a pretty good vicinity for that, and I thank God for that. And like I said, we're just being diligent about the social distancing, and so that's why I'm kind of having fun coming at you like this. It kind of makes it nice. I don't have to wear a mask, and I can talk into the camera and kind of have you get to know me, and I can get to know you all as well. I worked for many years, over 20 plus years, for a couple of local high schools. I was for many years, 17 or more years, I was their attendance secretary in high school office. If you were late to school, you had to come see me. And I worked with a couple other secretaries there, and I worked with some very nice people, very, very nice people. And I enjoyed the teachers and administrators very much, and it's sad as we get older to read the newspaper and the obituaries, and you see where somebody you worked with has passed. A lot of the people I worked with, and they were like the, my go-to people every day, the little group of us that are people that would come in the office on a daily basis, and a lot of those people are gone, and it's so sad to me. I just, I guess you have to hang on to those memories and embrace, what you had, and I do. So anyway, I did that for many years, and then I had always aspired to want to be the principal secretary. And so for the last about a year maybe, I was given that opportunity, and I held that title, office manager, secretary to the principal. But you know, like I said, I aspired for that position all those years, and yet when I had the position, it was very stressful, and times were changing. The budget for the town was being cut dramatically, so that left the school system in a real quandary. There was a lot of changes, a lot of positions being cut and stuff, so it just left my job in a stressful kind of situation that was hard to take on. So I did what I could, and my life was changing too. I had lost a dear loved one who was close to me, and you know, seeing them pass away at such a young age left me questioning my life and things that were kind of happening or not happening in my life. My kids were grown, so a lot of changes were happening. So I did that position for about a year, and then I decided to leave, and I took a position in another school system out of state, but you know, about a 20-minute ride from where I was living. And so crossing the border into another state, and starting over that way, and like I said, it was less pay, but at least it allowed my summers off. And I had never had a summer off in over 20 years, and I loved the summertime, loved enjoying the lake, a nearby lake, and you know, just gardening and all of that stuff that you don't get to do as much of when you're inside in an office 8 hours a day, every day, 5 days a week, you know, all year long. So I made that change. A lot of people thought I was nuts, you know, and here I am now. I left my first husband, my marriage, and so I was on my own, and with a lesser pay, kind of a silly thing to do in one sense, and yet I embraced the change. And funny thing is, I never was one to embrace change, so that was new for me as well. But I did it, and I've never looked back. Everything turned out okay. I left it up to the universe. I did a lot of writing in my journal, and I went through some hard times financially. I did. Lived in a one-room apartment, you know, and but you know, with the good Lord's looking over me, and He, in the universe, I was guided to some better things ahead, and you know, we're doing all right. We're doing okay today. You know, not wonderful or anything, but okay for us. We're doing okay for us, and that's what matters. We have food on the table and a roof over our heads, and we can come up smiling every day, and we feel good. We feel blessed, and everyone's doing well, and I couldn't be more grateful. Yeah. So I want to read a couple of my poems to you. That's what I want to do. So give me a moment to just open up my binder here and turn to a couple of them, and I'll read to you. And that would be my video this week. Okay, hold on. Eddie grew up as a foster boy on a farm in Heath with 21 other boys at given times. But the people ended up raising 21 different boys back when they didn't have electricity. Wow. And he talks of walking a few miles to school every day, and he was the boy. He got paid something like $11 a year to, you know, get the water and start all the lanterns and stuff. I find that so interesting, and just different times. And they lived way up in Heath, and you know, so if a car did come near the farm, that was big news. That was a big to-do. because, you know, they just didn't see a car for days on end and way up in the woods. So, you know, his foster mother, she cooked all the meals by, you know, wood stove or coal stove or whatever. You know, he went to bed at night and he heated up one of those bed stones and put it by his feet, and that kept him warm. And just things that our kids today don't know anything about, and kind of humbling. You know, last night we're sitting here, you know, inside, and I'm scrambling around for candles and lighting candles, and, you know, missing my computer and my technology and getting onto YouTube, but also realizing, wow, you know, our old farmhouse here was built in 1857, imagine. So that was, you know, they had an outhouse outside, and they used, you know, kerosene lamps and candles, and wow, you know, it just, we've come along. Library Day. I'm a 66 at the time year-old grandmother to a 6-year-old girl. She's now 7. Kennedy, and today is Library Day. Story time begins at 10:15 a.m. with activities to follow. Kennedy slept at my house last night, as I have her for the week because her mother is away for the week due to scheduled training with her job. Kennedy is a hard one to get to bed at night. She tends to want to stretch her playtime out and not have to deal with the idea that she needs to settle in at a decent hour and get her sleep. Needless to say, she slept a bit later in the morning, cutting into our time to get up and get ready to be at the library on time. Loverly, you're good to go. My husband, Eddie, also known to Kennedy as Papa Sky, has so diligently checked all the tires on my car, making sure I have enough tire pressure and washer fluid. He escorts us out of the house, helping me get her into her toddler car seat. Kennedy struggles with the seatbelt clasp, but soon we hear the click, and Kennedy gives her thumbs up and lets us know we are good to go. Papa Sky is such a gem, and we love and appreciate him very much. It's hot and humid, and I walk with a cane due to arthritis in my hips and legs. I'm a little better now. Storytime activity is upstairs in the old library, the same library her mother and her mother's brother went to as children. Up the windy stairs and through the big heavy doors we go. The large and somewhat unattractive room upstairs holds glass showcases of old artifacts and very old taxidermy, wildlife lurking about here and there. The room's atmosphere could allow for some creepiness to seek into your bones, if not for the presence of the small, anxious bodies, alive with excited energy and possibly one too many cool pops the night before. Kennedy, who can be very outspoken and opinionated for her age, decides it's time to get shy and has a bit of trepidation in picking out a place to sit on the floor amongst the other children. The other children already in their selected spots, ready for the storyteller to begin the story. Clinging to my sweaty capris and offering no help to me with my cane and 2 heavy book bags, while navigating my arthritic hips and legs and also my hot coffee commuter mug with the utmost caution, as this is my first morning cup of coffee, and nobody messes with Nanny's morning cup of coffee. The storyteller begins to read the storybook to her audience. After a few shy moments, Kennedy decides she will brave it and quickly maneuvers her little body down the center aisle of yellow plastic chairs and takes her place on the floor, on one of those black, tall, cushy type floor chairs. Soon, Kennedy is smiling and engaging in the singing and movement directed by the storyteller. Approximately 16 or so little bodies, all enjoying the story of the seagull who lives near the ocean. The idea being that after the story, they will all be able to move over to the craft tables to create and design their own little seagull out of paper plates, construction paper legs and beaks, colorful little bird feathers, crayons, glue sticks, tape, scissors, along with Elmer's glue. Refreshments serve goldfish, cheesy crackers, and fruit punch. The storyteller hands out the necessary crafty items to each child so they can create their masterpiece. Kennedy began the bathroom, and that means asking for the key from the people who work behind the big counter where people go to check out books, movies, tapes, CDs, etc. Key in hand, Kennedy eagerly sticks the key that is dangling from a long pink plastic ruler into the keyhole and turns it about until she finally gets it right and the door unlocks. Mother Nature calling all the shots for the next 5 minutes or so. We finish with the cold water and soap dispenser and a bit of a thug from the brown paper towel holder. All good with our Hygiene 101. We enter through the heavy swinging doors once again. Kennedy gives back the key back to the nice man at the counter, and we head over to the left area, children's section of the historic library. Mounted high up on the wall to the left as you enter this area lies a huge stuffed moose. I am talking huge. This moose has been hanging there in the same place for decades, as I remember it from many years ago when I was much younger. The children get a big kick out of it, and it is especially fun to see how the people tending the library dress it up according to the season and approaching holiday. Dressed for the summer, the big moose is sporting some beach supplies, with a plastic pail and shovel hanging from its antlers and a colorful beach towel mimicking a scarf around its neck and a few colorful fake flowers hanging here and there. Kennedy has been here with me for several Wednesdays this summer, so she is now familiar and comfortable with the routine and her surroundings. Some days after the activities upstairs, the library quickly filters out when we find ourselves alone in the children's section, which we tend to enjoy our quiet time there. On this particular day, however, there were many people in the children's section, many of the same people who attended the activities upstairs. Near the old fireplace, just under the large moose, sits a leather black chair that I enjoy sitting in while Kennedy... Hold on. Okay. While Kennedy... let me just... the children said many of the same... Okay. Yeah, okay. While Kennedy looks at books and plays with puzzles, and at times she colors and draws on the little round table there. With many children and parents about, one mother with a baby in a holder against her chest and several children in tow was holding an item from the prize box, explaining something to her son, who was trying to decide what toy he wanted from the prize selection box. It's something the library does for the kids who accomplish goals from a goal worksheet, when all of a sudden Kennedy grabbed the item from the woman's hand. I quickly noted to Kennedy that what she just did was not appropriate, and to apologize to the lady, which she did. I told the lady that we are working on our manners, and with the hope that Kennedy will never do that again. The mother was very understanding and generously accepted our apology. Having that little episode now history, I was trying desperately to get my arthritic body over to the black leather chair, as I now see it is empty. Grabbing all my belongings, book bags, trusty cane, and let's not forget my travel mug of coffee, I briskly meander over to the area of the black chair, just about ready to sit my 66-year-old senior, and need I say matronly backside into it. A yellow-haired small male body plumps himself right into my much-anticipated sitting spot. I think to myself, Lord, I truly need your sense of humor most of the time, but not now, Lord. I need this seat, and I need it now. The young boy never looked up. I remember this now. He never looked up at me never twitched a brow or batted an eyelash. Honestly, I was dumbfounded. Okie dokie then. So I turned my bewildered, hot and hungry self around, hoping to then head back over to the small middle chair I had been sitting in earlier. You had to be there. It was one of those moments I could picture in slow motion that would have won me a contest as well. With much luck, the middle chair was empty, so I quickly sat myself down and looked around, taking in what just happened and wondering when the young lad still sitting in my chosen chair would be leaving. I had my Shark Tales book by Barbara Corcoran with me, and I was eager to crack it open and continue on learning about how the sharks made their fortunes, all the while anticipating a visit to the local thrift store directly across the street to check out their half-price deals that happen once a week, and wondering how many $1 bills I had remaining in my wallet in case. I happened to catch a good deal, yeah. In the meantime, Kennedy is smiling, sometimes softly singing and enjoying herself immensely with all the fun and entertaining things this library has to offer. What's the moral of this story? Not entirely sure, but I do know this. Teach our kids to be good and kind citizens with good manners and morals, and be patient with them while they learn. Get them to their local libraries and get them to enjoy being there and to enjoy reading and the arts. Teach them early on as best we can about money and to respect money so as to deter them getting caught up in the credit card scheme when they are barely 18. Teach them that the best things in life don't on a mission today. My body will get there. I wrote one for Halloween. I've written a lot of them, actually. Here it is. It's entitled, it's a poem. It's entitled Bit-O-Sweet Halloween. Sounds of little feet hit the streets to walk their familiar beat as their minds are full with thoughts of all the sweet treats and candy they will have been given to eat. Cats, witches, Spider-Men, fairies, hobos, football players, and so much more. Oh, how we can't help but adore. Peanut butter cups, Tootsie Rolls, lollipops, bit of honey, and popcorn balls a must. If allowed, they will eat and eat their sweet treats until their tummies are ready to bust and their teeth needing a brush. Crisp apples, carved pumpkins, rustling leaves left behind to remind us all, young and old, of the tales of our youth. Little tired bodies tread upon the sweetened path, parents and grandparents not far behind. The landscape of cookie-cutter homes, all adorned with autumn's theme. Young teenagers cooking up some twisted scheme to be revealed later that evening. And she helps me quite a bit too, my Maricela. So anyway, this is the poem Kennedy and Her Bank. Please don't take my bank. It helps me to think. It's the only thing I have that I can truly call my own. I love how it feels against my little tongue. My name is Kennedy, and I've had it since day one. Mommy and Daddy know and understand how much I love my bank. It helps me to fall asleep and helps to reassure me that all is calm and that everything will be okay. I'm a good little girl, and I don't fuss much. I like to know that my bank is nearby, especially when it's time to close my eyes, also when we go for rides. I am now 18 months, and some say it's time to take away my bank. I say for now let it stay. I have my fun toys and my little red wagon, that is true. But taking it away now will only make me sad and blue. And Nanny bought me some new shoes. I can walk real good now. I can even run. Oh, my Bink and I are having so much fun. I will let you know when the time comes, and we can replace Bink with a new toy or maybe a soft blanket. Terry. I stand at the long counter, separating you from me. You, the student, me the secretary. Pen in hand, I ask your name, or perhaps by now I may know it by heart. I grab the small pink tardy pass, and with my pen and overworked hands, I write your name, date, and time of arrival, just as I did the day before and the day before that. Today's time is just short of a few seconds from the time noted the day prior. I am witness to your tired eyes, your morning breath, disheveled clothes, and your young mind. Freshmen, you say, what is this attitude you are wearing today? Sophomores and juniors arrive with a bit more patience and friendlier demeanor. My mind ponders over whether there is much more going on here than just a late arrival once again. The mother in me just wants to grab them and give them a hug, along with a bit of wisdom and advice. Maybe the student did not even sleep at their own home last night. I take extra time writing out the tardy pass to offer a smile and a friendly gesture. No one really knows their suffering and daily pressure. Senior year, graduation near, the student no longer needs a tardy pass to class. A bit taller and a bit more crass, the student stops by for a hug and a laugh, giving thanks for all the days past. For fun, I give them a small picture frame of their last tardy pass, now under glass. I smile and pat myself on the back. Me, the school secretary, who just maybe had a little bit to do with the fact that this senior who's about to graduate is a respectful, tactful, and well-rounded individual, ready for the world ahead. Walk tall, graduate. Okay, I like that one. So anyway, that's what I do. I like to write. And again, it's just me. It's just, you know, I like to here's one. This is called Mindful Status of Living. Mindful status of living. Knitting while sitting. Mindful status of living. Feeling blessed today. I did not bother getting dressed. Retired years now. My day unfolds however I wish. Lazy at times. I may not even wash this dirty dish. Creative one. My work is never done. Scratched a lottery ticket. $50 is all I won. Tomorrow maybe I will bust open my watercolors and paint. Diabetic. Don't want to feel faint. Can't forget to take my meds, especially the 2 I take before bed. Wintertime is here. Just finished with holiday cheer. Need to balance the checkbook as I navigate into the new year. Watching hoarders and eating Fig Newtons. Now on number 3. Realizing life is pretty good for me. Not like those mixed up people on TV. Life, I see, has stages of 1, 2, and 3. Stage 1, we spend feeling jealous of those who have much more stuff. Stage 2, we work hard to obtain a house with good furniture and cars that don't rust. But on to stage 3, with arthritis in my hips and knees, I just want to flee and free myself of all these accumulated and unnecessary things. Simplify, they say. Go tiny all the way. Sitting while staring at many antiques that were enjoyed over the years. They truly had their day. Shelves filled with Watt pottery and vintage porcelain. Even an old silver tray looks as tired as I am. My hair now silver and gray. I even tried dyeing it the other day. I was hoping for lovely strands of silver gray, but wound up with locks looking much more blue than gray, reminding me of Smurfette in her heyday. Vanity has no place in old age. Future holds a day where I will just walk away, knowing then that this chapter is done, just like a good book we read. Our minds take from it what we need. Time then to plant a new seed. Do a good deed and possibly give this stuff to those in need. I will be smiling indeed. I do have one that I will share with you at another time. that's kind of personal to me. This is one that I wrote about a doll that I made for my daughter years ago for Christmas. We didn't have much, and so buying a Cabbage Patch doll for me was kind of out of the question. We just didn't have the extra money. And yet I wanted her to have something similar, or, you know, that would be something she could enjoy. So I bought a kit, one of those kits that you make up the dolls. And I took a day off from my day job, and I sat home and I made this doll. Well, here's a poem about it that tells the rest of the story. The Ugly Cabbage Patch Doll. I'm going to attempt to read it, and then, you know, finish up. I want to also remind you to think about, you know, if you like this video, click thumbs up, and, you know, share, comment, subscribe. You know, it'd be good to hear from you as we, you know, progress together and grow together in these uncertain times. I hope that the good Lord has blessed you today and you're feeling positive with good energy as I am. I'm sitting in my she shed bottle area and I'm just loving it today. It's just another beautiful fall New England day here in Massachusetts, and it's just lovely. A little brisk, you need a jacket, but I've got my incense going. You can probably see the smoke. Listening to my radio, and I've got my coffee, and you can just see why I just love it out here. You can just see how it's just so inspiring, and just, this is my happy place, you know? So let me read this to you, and then this will be kind of my end of this video for you. It shouldn't take too long. The Ugly Cabbage Patch Doll. It was 1980-something, and the Cabbage Patch doll was the rage. I did not want my little 4-year-old not having what others had at that age. But money was an issue, never any extra for any fancy gifts wrapped in fancy paper. Heck, we had to settle for wrapping gifts in that cheap tissue. My little girl had to settle for the kit version of the Cabbage Patch doll that Mama made her. Took a day off from my day job to create this little masterpiece. I worked diligently into the night to make it special and not look cheap. Long needle with thread, nylon fabric, and many small balls of stuffing, hoping at each stitch that my loving and strong efforts weren't for nothing. Pulling the long needle with thread, my fingers working very hard to shape the head, just the right length of thread to create the mouth and nose. Nylon fabric looked like Grandma's pantyhose. Instructions said to use thick yarn to create braids on top of her head. I decided to sew one of those triangle bandanas instead. Pulling the threads tightly to shape the pudgy fingers and toes. I wish I had done a better job creating her nose. Her bandana matched nicely with her little yellow cotton dress. Project was done in time for me to go to bed. The next day after work, I would look for a gift box from the shed. Wrap the gift with patience and love, knowing full well it did not resemble the dolls in the catalog book. Tuck the gift box under the tree in a corner nook. Christmas morning, coffee made, little ones eager to open their gifts and look at their few special gifts under the tree, even ones made by me. My daughter eagerly opened her special gift, only to throw the doll and drop to her knees, crying and telling me it was the scariest doll ever to be. This Cabbage Patch doll never made it to sit pretty under the tree or to sit pretty atop her small bed, where she lay her pretty head. Never did this Cabbage Patch doll get played with or adored, but rather in the attic it got stored. Guess I had to bite the bullet and admit, screw the darn cheap kit. I should have dug deeper into the cookie jar once more and bought her a nice doll from a good department store. If anything, we continue to laugh and roar as we share the story of the ugly Cabbage Patch doll once more. That makes me laugh. And it's such a strong memory. One of those memories. Some things you just, you know, will always remember. So anyway, I got to share some poems with you, and I certainly hope that you've enjoyed your time with me. Again, creative time with Maureen Sky. And I'm going to say goodbye to you now, and we'll see you in another 6 days or so. I'm hoping to do a project next time. So thank you all, and may God bless.